Yo, what is up? It's JC. We're here, and near the end of Selection Sunday. It's about 11 at night, but I waited to film a bracket to do this time. And yeah, I'm an absolute college basketball sicko. I'm also a Kentucky fan. All right, but I try to not be biased the best I can. I think I do a good job. We'll see. But it's time to fill out the bracket. I do want to mention too, not really bragging, but just kind of a good way of showing my credentials, I guess, as a college basketball fan, is I also did bracketology and got a 355-58 score on, like, it's kind of arbitrary scoring scale. I got all but two of the teams missed. I'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. And also got 47 of them on the correct seed line, which is alright, but I am happy with it. And I'll talk about the bracket discrepancies, the things that I'm not exactly sure about happening, because there's definitely things to talk about. But we're going to focus more on the actual bracket itself. And here is the bracket. Here's the desktop. Alright, so where do we pick? We start over here. I don't have to talk about it, to be honest. Good for Alabama State, good for St. Francis. That they're here. They're going to get steamrolled. Hopefully they play an entertaining game. I don't remember which day, but hopefully they play an entertaining game. Immediately, what happened in the selection show? We immediately got slapped with one of the most insane things I've seen. Sadly, it wasn't the most insane thing that even happened in this. Louisville's an 8 is crazy. That's a wild 8. I can't believe they did it. I can't believe it happens at 8. Now, this is an interesting matchup because Louisville's favored. I figure. We will see how this works. I realistically think this game comes down to who shoots better. Who shoots better. Louisville is a very underseeded team. I would have thought this was more likely as a Sweet 16 matchup. Then, like, if you told me they were a 5, if you told me Creighton and Louisville would play, I'd be like, oh, so Louisville's a 5, not in round 1. But it's clearly the first showing of them seeming to care a lot about non-conference. I think whoever wins this game comes down to who shoots best. Louisville's a more well-rounded team, but Creighton can shoot the lights out. I'm just gonna pick the better team. I am. There are things I might pick and I might walk back for numbers. Now we got Michigan and UC San Diego. Michigan should have been a 4. I don't see how you can justify Purdue over them. UC San Diego should have been 11, I think. But I get it. And this is an interesting matchup. Michigan turns the ball over a lot. UC San Diego forces a lot of turnovers. They take advantage of those turnovers. You realistically need to pick a 12 over a 5 somewhere. Is this the one? I don't know. This is a game. We'll skip ahead a little. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a 12 and 13 matchup in round 2. I wouldn't. I'm picking UC San Diego. Screw it. I'm doing it. We'll see. We'll see how the other picks go. But I think that's probably the one I'm going to pick. Round 2, man, I really think Texas A&M could get upset here. But the thing that deters me is I feel like a lot of people said that. And last year, I faded. I faded McNeese. I mean, everyone was picking McNeese over to Gonzaga, and that was a fade for me. I didn't even like the matchup for McNeese to begin with, and Gonzaga rolled. So, I like it. One thing I'll mention, why should you watch this? I picked Furman. I don't think that was a crazy pick, but I did predict Oral Roberts beating Ohio State as it's like 13, 14 years old. Yeah, I've known ball since a young age. Alright. I think I gotta pick one of these. We'll see. Ole Miss versus SCSU or UNC. North Carolina should not be in the field. They should not. Everyone, they mentioned, oh, they played a good non-conference. Did they win those games? No, they did not. I get. They lost to Florida, to Auburn, right? I'm pretty sure Auburn, and 3 games to Duke. I get it. They went 1-12 in Quad 1. Did not win a game in Quad 1A by 1 spot. So we're cutting it loose. I actually might have got it. UCLA might have jumped. I don't know. Didn't look at UCLA after. I had them as a 7, and they were a 7. So I'm not going to beat a dead horse. North Carolina shouldn't be in the field. They just shouldn't be. If that was Wake Forest's name, would Wake Forest be in? No, they would not. Now, do I think San Diego State or North Carolina could beat Ole Miss? Yes, I do. I do think North Carolina could win games in this tournament. I do. They shouldn't be in it, though. Like, that's the point. Like, Michigan made it, and then they beat Tennessee. Did that mean that Michigan deserves to be in? No. They did not. That's one of the worst teams I've ever seen make it. Well, now UNC, I think, is that freaking answer to who's the worst team I've ever seen make the field. North Carolina in 2025. I'm gonna roll with Ole Miss, and I'm gonna roll with Iowa State. The problem, Keyshawn Gilbert's hurt. Keyshawn Gilbert's out. Lipscomb can shoot it. I wouldn't be surprised if Lipscomb wins this game because they shoot the lights out. But I'm not picking it. It's very unlikely. It could be an Oakland and Kentucky situation. It could be Marquette and New Mexico. Man, guards win games in March. And these are 2 of the best guards in this country. Straight up. 2 of the best guards in this country. Donovan Dent and Cam Jones. Unreal guard play. You got Nelly Jr. Joseph. Marquette? Yeah, you look at that. Notable results for New Mexico. Really good wins. And I thought New Mexico should have been a 9. I thought this could have been a 8-9 matchup. Actually, I might have had that as an 8-9 matchup. I don't remember. I didn't pay attention too much. Again, this is a game I might revisit based on numbers. If I need a 10 seed to win or something. I'm going to pick Michigan State. And I'm just going to go ahead and get that out the way. Bryant, good for them, right? Like the 15s, I'm not going to pick any. Sorry, I'm just not going to. 14s, probably not going to pick any. 13s, I don't think I'm going to pick any. We'll see. You've got to pick a 12. You've got to. And honestly, numerics, like statistically, you probably should pick a 14 or like at least a 13 or higher. It's just risky play, right? It's a risky play. I think we got to get it rolling. I'm just going to pick Marquette right now. No. I'm picking New Mexico. Florida, the best team in the country. UConn is better than Oklahoma. It's that simple. UConn's better than Oklahoma. I think Solo Ball can outduel fears. I don't think anyone else on Oklahoma. I don't think Jalen Moore. I mean, he could. Jalen Moore could outduel Caravan or McNeely, but I don't know. I honestly, the players, you can make an argument. I trust Dane Hurley more than I trust Porter Moser. And that's where this conversation ends. Possibly no Tyrese Hunter in this game. Colorado State's favored. Nate Clifford and Colorado State have been ballin' of late. They have been on one. Blew out New Mexico, I think, right? Blew out Boise State. Blew out Utah State. It wasn't New Mexico. Boise State beat New Mexico. That's the point. I'm shocked Memphis was a 5. I get it. Most people have them ranked in their AP poll as like a top 20 team in the country, but their predictives are really low. That was shocking, very shocking. But we still have not got to the most shocking part to me yet. No, we can get to it. West Virginia missed it. Baseless. The most baseless miss I've ever seen. I've ever seen. It's not even worth talking about. 4 quad 1 wins after DeVries went hurt, and they go on and say DeVries is the reason. They won 4 quad 1A games, 2 of which away from home in Gonzaga and at Allen Fieldhouse, and UNC made it over them. It's just ridiculous. You know what? I'm gonna roll with the hot team. And I like Maryland too much. I've been super high on Maryland all year. Grand Canyon's a good team. Grant Foster's been getting it going a little bit more, but... And I know this is a popular upset. Drake and Missouri. I know it's a popular upset. I thought this could have been a 7-10 game. Sturts, phenomenal player. We'll see where he plays next year. We'll see where Ben McCollum coaches next year. One of the best shooters in the country, Caleb Grill. The thing that deters me here, I've been high on Missouri all year. They're, well, at least since December. Since, like, the Illinois game, I'm like, oh, they're for real. They're a good team. And then they won at Florida, and I'm like, this is a legit, like, team that can go on a run. I'm gonna fade. I'm gonna fade Drake. I'm going to Texas Tech. Another team I'm super high on. I don't think I have to explain it. JT Toppin is one of the best players in this country. We're going Texas Tech. And now we've got the fun part, right? Especially as a Kentucky fan. Bill Self versus John Calipari for the right to play St. John's. Sorry, Omaha and their trash cans. I don't see them beating St. John's. Just don't see it happening. I just don't. But this is a fun one, right? I think Adu Thiero is still hurt. Sorry, Thiero. I called him Thiero for 2 years. You gotta give me a break. I just don't think Arkansas can win that game. They can. If Zeke Mayo shoots, Arkansas's not winning that game. If he shoots poorly, Arkansas very well could win that game. And now we go over here, correct? Yeah, I didn't miss anything. Over here. Duke. Thanks for coming out, American. And why am I forgetting? Mount St. Mary's. Sorry, I didn't watch that game. That was like the one game I didn't watch. Mississippi State. I've been low on Baylor all year. I'm just not fond of this Baylor team. Josh Hubbard versus VJ Edgecombe should be fun. Obviously, they're not matched up on each other. Rob Wright probably gets the assignment on Hubbard. Well, maybe Edgecombe guards him, but Hubbard definitely won't guard Edgecombe. It'll be a good game, I'm sure. But Baylor's a team I've been low on all year. I watched them obviously I watched them get bent over by Gonzaga, but then I watched them in the Arkansas game, and I'm like, that's just not a great team. Then I watched the Tennessee game, and that's not a great team. They should have lost to St. John's. It's a ridiculous ending. This is a game that feels sneaky, right? Clearly not sneaky with a 5.5 point. I already picked 212, so I'm going to pick Oregon. But man, Liberty, when they get to playing like how they did in the final 10 minutes of that semifinal game against Kennesaw State, they can win. And they can win multiple games in the tournament. But Dana Altman has not lost a game in the first round at Oregon, I believe I heard. He has consistently gone on runs. This Oregon team has won big games all year. Won against Alabama, won against A&M. What else? Close. Yeah. Like, just win at Wisconsin. Great wins away from home. We're breaking them, and I'm going to pick Arizona. Akron lost one game post-January, I think. I just don't think they're good enough to win this game. Arizona's a team I'm definitely high on. Very good. A disappointing start to the season, but really turned it on. Almost even beat Houston in the Big 12 title game. It's a good team. It's a good team. And this is a banger of a matchup. This was a matchup that we were probably going to have last year if Duquesne didn't win the game, because pretty clearly showed that Duquesne was not supposed to be an 11. They did not reflect an 11 at all. But VCU lost the game, and they just put Duquesne where VC was going to be. This was going to be the game that they played last year. Now, Duquesne beat BYU in that game last year. Former BYU coach, now Kentucky coach, Mark Pope. Obviously. He hasn't won a tournament game. Well, there was one player that showed up in that game, I'm fairly certain, from what I remember. It was an early slate game. It was the only game on for a while. And it was Jackson Robinson. I think Richie Saunders will show up in this game. He's a phenomenal player. Would have been very happy if he His wife didn't say, we're staying in Utah. Would have been great. I might not be the biggest Igor Demon fan, and I might be very high on VCU. The thing is, I don't think I've picked an 11. I have not. So I'm picking VCU. That's a tough one. What's the spread on that? 2.5. Yeah, and Wisconsin. Shout out Money Williams. It's a great name, great player. St. Mary's and Alabama. I'm not thinking twice on St. Mary's. I don't think. I love just Jason Edwards. He's to me one of the more underrated players in this country. I don't like how Vane's been playing of late. How they came to the tournament, and the St. Mary's team is very, very good. To me, like a top 15-ish, for sure top 20 team in this country. I just think they beat Vandy. And Houston, shout out to SIUE, their first appearance. Gonzaga, I'm sorry, Georgia. I rolled with you all year. I'm a Braves fan. I'm a Hawks fan. I got a lot of people that I mess with that are Georgia fans, so I found myself hoping for their success. But Gonzaga's just the better team. Gonzaga is the better team, and they should win this game. They should. And by the way, I think I picked all 8s. I did. So Creighton it is. I picked all 8, so Creighton it is. I think the reason why I think Creighton is, I think people, every time we come into a year, this team got super underseeded, they lose. It feels like. So we're going to do it. The thing is, Louisville did get very underseeded. They're a very good team. And I could be picking that in bias in what I would hope, because it'd be very funny if Louisville lost in Lexington. But, yeah, I don't know. This is an interesting duo of games. Clemson and McNeese and Purdue and High Point. I'm picking Clemson. I'm fading McNeese once again. Faded them last year, like I mentioned. Faded McNeese last year. After everyone picked them to beat Gonzaga, we're fading them again. I'm picking High Point. Purdue has a history. Purdue has a history of getting upset. High Point is a very good team. Very good. I think if Braden Smith has an off night, High Point can score with them, and they can win it. I don't know who's going to stop Trey Kaufman-Wren, but FDU beat Purdue, so anything is possible in March. I want to pick an upset for 13 higher. I think that's the one. Illinois is not who I'm picking. Illinois is a team all year. You know what? Let's bring this out. I don't know when I tweeted it, but as an avid college basketball user, I am on Twitter a lot, and but Illinois feels like year in, year out is the type of team that can either lose in the first round or go to the Final Four. On February 1st, I mentioned it. I don't know where. Illinois is a scary team. Okay, December 10th. Illinois is the type of team that could either make a Final Four run or lose to a 13 seed. Well, it's not going to be a 13. And, but I'm Trey Johnson. I said it in November. I know I have a tweet on that too. Trey Johnson's going to win games in the NCAA he's not supposed to. Well, he did, and he got them to the tournament. And he's going to win a game in March Madness that they're not supposed to. Or maybe not him. Maybe it's Mr. Man on Xavier who just dropped 35 points or whatever in the Big East tournament. In what was a phenomenal game, incredible game. But I think we know that Mr. Ryan Conwell is very capable of doing the same. And Conwell and Trey Johnson might go ballistic on each other. And we'll see what happens there. But I also know that Kasparis Yakachonis can go off. But I also know that Illinois can get a little three happy. They're not that good of a three-point shooting team, but they shoot like they are. And they might lose. I don't know, but that's the feel. And Kentucky fan, so you think I'm picking Troy, but I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot of PTSD running through my blood, running through my veins, running through my mind. Seeing that 6-10 time slot and a 14/15 seed the last couple of years. I mean, Kentucky used to be the team that never got upset. I think we lost like a double-digit seed like once ever. And we completely ruined that reputation in 2 years. But it's time to get that monkey off our back in the first year of the Pope era. So we're picking Tennessee. Although I do think this is maybe one of the more likely 15 seeds over 2s. Just because Wofford can shoot and they have the Granny Shaw free throw shooter. So maybe there's a little Cinderella there. I don't know. But I think that's probably the most likely 15 seed win. I think Omaha is good. But I think that's maybe the most likely 15 seed to win a game is Wofford. Just because it can shoot. And this is a game that's interesting because you go to a game, was it November? Where New Mexico won at UCLA. New Mexico won at UCLA. By the way, I just mentioned, I had to make sure that was Ryan Conwell that dropped 35. I couldn't remember which one on Xavier. I wasn't forgetting his name. I just had to make sure I knew which one. It probably looked like I was looking for his name. I'm good at stalling, though. Maybe not. Probably not. UCLA is an interesting team. UCLA is an interesting team. I'm going to pick Utah State. I don't think I have 10s winning. Okay, we have 2 10s winning, which I think is a fair number. So let's look at the trends here. We've got 2 10s winning, 2 12s winning, 1 9 winning, which I think is fair. Because I think that we might, over the years, 9s have been winning a ton of games over 8s. Like, I think it's like literally 2/3 of them over the last couple of years, the last few years. So I think maybe this is a year where that retroacts itself a little bit. I think that's the right word. I'm not thinking twice. Auburn's winning, although I wouldn't be surprised. Now, this is an interesting game because I don't want to put A&M in the okay. My heart says pick UC San Diego. I'm picking UC San Diego because I have been on the A&M is overrated train all year, and so screw it. And I just can't get myself to pick Yale. They could. Did they really upset an SEC team twice in a row? Did they do the Princeton? Although in the SEC teams, but I am as high on Iowa State as anyone all year. The only problem in this instance is they don't have Keyshawn Gilbert. And I think Ole Miss is a good team. A good team. That doesn't always play good. But Iowa State's also a good team that doesn't always play good. They're a better team, and they play better a little more consistently. But my gut says Ole Miss wins that game. That's what my gut says. And Michigan State, I'm not going to overthink. Michigan State's a wagon right now. They won 8 straight quad 1 games before the loss to Wisconsin. And I'm picking Florida. I'm not second guessing. And I'm picking Maryland. And I'm picking Texas Tech. And I'm picking St. John's. There's a chalky region. All right. I think that's the only region we're gonna get that's all chalky. But yeah, I just think this region is ridiculous, dude. This was the region that stuck out to me. Florida, like truthfully, Florida, St. John's, Texas Tech, and Maryland are all teams that I was going into the tournament. Like, I feel like I'm gonna have them in my Final Four, or I could have them in my Final Four. Honestly, all year they've been teams that I feel like I could have in my Final Four, and they're all in the same region. That's crazy. Those are some sick games, though. And I'm picking Duke. Not overthinking. And I'm picking Arizona. Picking Duke and I'm picking Arizona. I think Arizona won this game in the regular season. Maybe Oregon. I don't remember. They might have split. Wait, what am I talking about? I don't know where my brain's going. I feel like they played. I don't know. Sorry. Goof. There's a goof. BCU as an 11 seed, causing a ruckus on the bracket. What else is new? What else is new? Well, I'm not picking Wisconsin to go to Sweet 16. I'm looking at VCU and BYU and seeing which one of them goes to Sweet 16 with a chance to play Alabama. Man, ooh, do I what? Yeah, I'm picking BYU, and I'm picking BYU to win that. They're just too hot, man. They're just too hot. They're too hot. They're too hot. And I said with a chance to play Alabama, right? I didn't mean it. St. Mary's beats Alabama. I have to pick a 1 or 2 seed to be out before the Sweet 16, and I think this is one of the most. I think this is the best call. My gut's just telling me St. Mary's wins this game, and why? St. Mary's is St. Mary's, and they play defense, and they've got some scores, and Alabama is a good team. But they played this team and were a shell of themselves at home against Ole Miss. I think St. Mary's played. No, okay. I was like, what? St. Mary's played? That was wrong. But yeah, St. Mary's. I'm picking St. Mary's. That's my gut. My gut tells me I'm picking St. Mary's to win that basketball game. I'm curious, what's the spread on this? Yeah, I figured a lot. They was probably going to win that game by a lot. Now, Houston Gonzaga. I mentioned before that I'm going to have a really hard time not picking Houston to upset a 2 seed. The thing is, they're playing a 1 seed, and they're playing Houston. Houston wins it. And now this High Point keep it going. Dude, they keep the good times rolling. Yeah, they do. I think they do. Clemson has shown the ability to lose a game. That's just weird. Like Georgia Tech. They also lost to Boise State. Adding neutral site by double digits. Now, Utah State is more of a, like, just quick pace team. $82 points a game. Obviously not very high. No. I don't know. I think Clemson also might just be due for a loss. I mean, yeah, they lost to Louisville. That's a tough one, though. Do I really do that? Yeah, I do. Screw it. Last year, I made the call that the 11 seed that they played was better than them as a 6 seed in New Mexico, and then they won and went to the Elite 8. But I don't know. I'm picking Clemson, man. I'm just picking Clemson, and I'm picking Kentucky, and I'm picking Tennessee for a third match. And I'm going to be honest, be transparent, be real. I don't love that we have to play them a third time. It's hard to beat a good team 3 times. Auburn wins. Yeah. Michigan State wins. A little bit chalk there. Now, how do I avoid going chalk? Is the great question, because I'm going to be real. Duke's winning this game. They're just winning that game. I'm just not picking against them. Now, who do I pick between these two teams? Picking St. Mary's. I'm picking St. Mary's. We're keeping it going with St. Mary's. If this was Gonzaga, I would have done the same thing. if that was Gonzaga, I would have done the same thing. We're picking St. Mary's. Florida's the best team in this country, dude. I want to pick Maryland so bad, but they're the best team in this country. If Maryland played Auburn, I think I'd consider it. Auburn got a relatively easy draw, to be completely honest. Louisville's a tough one, right? But A&M, Michigan don't affect me. Iowa State with Keyshawn Gilbert out doesn't affect me. Michigan State is a phenomenal team, a way different team than they were in December. St. John's and Texas Tech. I'm picking Texas Tech as a 3 seed once again. I don't want to pick against St. John's. I don't want to pick against Coach Rick Pitino, the greatest coach of all time. All right, bait with the wall. I don't care. Doing that with multiple programs doesn't even make sense. I just think Texas Tech's a better team. I think Christian Anderson is a phenomenal guard that's getting better and better. Zuby Ejiofor and JT Toppy should be a great matchup, especially with the way Zuby's been playing of late. RJ Lewis is a phenomenal player. No, I can't pick against P, man. I can't pick against Coach P. And we're here, and Houston's winning, and Kentucky's winning. I know it's a little chalky, just a little. We've got a 1-2, a 1-7, a 1-2, a 1-2, or a 1-3, a 1-2. But I just think these top teams are that good, man. I just think this is a year where the games of quality might be ridiculous, but there might not be as many upsets, because these teams at the top tier are truthfully top tier. You go to KenPom and you look. I don't know what it is now, but like a week ago, the 30th best team in the country this year would have been like the 15th best team in the country last year, according to KenPom. And that's just ridiculous. And so where do we go from here? I'm going Michigan State, and I'm going Duke. I don't know if I trust Auburn right now, and especially with this relatively easy path, let's be real. I don't know if they're battle tested enough going into it. Now, obviously, they're battle tested in the regular season, but they've just not been the same team of late. And I want to diffy it up just a bit. So there we go. And I'm picking Florida. Sorry. And I'm picking Houston. So it's going to be 1-1-1-2. These teams are too good. They're too good. They're too good. These teams are too good. It is that simple. These teams are too good. They simply are. And I'm going to pick Houston. I'm going to pick Florida. And I'm going to pick Houston to win it all. Milos Uzan, I haven't even talked about Houston because I'm just picking him. Milos Uzan, playing the way he has of late, is a revelation for this Houston team. It takes them from a team that can win a championship to a team that very much can win a championship. And that is a big difference. Because right now, you look, I'd say Texas Tech's a team that can win a championship. I think St. John's is a team that can win a championship. I think, Arizona's a team that can win a championship. Iowa State, when healthy, is a team that can win a championship. Houston is a team Houston and Florida, I think, are the two best teams in this country right now. With the health questions around Duke, I think Duke's the best team in the country. I do. I think Florida's the best team in the country, playing as the best team in the country right now. And I think Houston is a team that's been consistent. I won't say every step of the way. They did lose to San Diego State. They did lose close to Bama and to Auburn. Auburn's been the best team in this country all year. The problem is they just haven't played like it of late, so it makes me a lot more hesitant. Michigan State has played like a legit team. That is just they've been Izzo'd, and it is working. Like I said, 14-5 in Quad 1 this year, with like 6 Quad 1A road wins. Like, it's ridiculous. They can freaking win some basketball games. Tom Izzo wins basketball games in March. Bruce Pearl hasn't won as many basketball games in March. Houston might not have won as many basketball games in March. Houston plays Duke. They get their revenge for last year when they probably would have won that game if Jamal Shead does not get hurt, and would have had pretty decent odds at a championship, even though I don't think anyone was beating that UConn team. They would have had as good of odds as anyone. And Florida's the best team in this country right now, but I just don't know if they can roll through all the way to the end playing this way. Especially because we've seen them have a couple of games this year. The Missouri game, the South Carolina game, the Tennessee game in Knoxville where they didn't have Ziegler. And I think Milicic, right? Was it Milicic? It was someone else. Florida's had a couple. There was one recently. Which one was it? There was a game recently where they just kind of... And you see, I kind of took Kentucky as far as I could while feeling realistic. I'm going to take them as far as I want to because I'm a fan. But and I think it's going to be very hard to beat Tennessee 3 straight times. It will be very difficult. But I think we match up super well with them. And I think our depth is better than theirs, even when we're injured. I mean, today we saw them have to play Bishop Boswell at the end of the game because they got in foul trouble. Well, we have our top 3 point guard options out. We got Lamont Butler back. And we're a different team when Lamont Butler's back. The team that you watch get blown out by Bama is not the same team that we have. I really wish we had Jackson Robinson because I do think this team could make some legitimate noise. Because, I mean, when we were fully healthy, we beat Florida. We beat Duke. We beat Tennessee twice while injured. It's a testament to how good Kentucky is this year. Despite what people want to say, but they just want to say it because we're Kentucky. But Houston is the champion. They're the champion. How many points? 142. 142. That'll be it. That's my prediction. That's it. That's all. That was long, but I didn't want it to be that long. But I'm a yapper, and I love what I'm talking about, and I love what I'm talking about. But and I'll talk about more. I'm probably about to record the women's bracket. It'll be a lot shorter. But the funny thing is, the women's bracket's always better. I'm always like 90th percentile in the women's bracket, while in this one I'm like maybe last year it didn't go too well. It did not go too well. I'll just say that much. But yeah, we got it. Well, I got Houston, Florida in it, in the championship, winning it all. A little chalky near the end, but I just think these teams are that good. And we're going to be in for a treat when it comes to the level of basketball played. We might not have as many Cinderellas, although I still got a couple. Maybe not the same magnitude as usual. But that's just how it is. I think these teams are elite this year. And that's it. Signing off. Peace. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, subscribe. You'll get more content.